on break now, and I've been told all the way through school repeatedly about a whole bunch of series that a lot of people were surprised that I hadn't actually been able to see yet. One of these series I'm speaking of is Future Diary, or Mirai Nikki, I believe in Japanese. Seeing I was off, and I heard good things about it, I decided to give it a watch. And in, 2 days? I finished the series a little bit earlier today. And after having some time to sit on it, to think on it a little bit, I thought making a video would probably be appropriate. So, Future Diary. This show, this anime, is basically about a boy who is kind of like a close-in, not really to the extent of like the Hikikomori series, Welcome to the NHK, not quite like that, but he's rather to himself, but he's capable of making friends. He's like halfway to Hikikomori. And basically, him and 11 other people get the ability for their diaries to predict the future in various ways. Now, initially hearing this and hearing that they're gonna have to face each other to decide who becomes God, don't worry, that's not a spoiler. And I would hope if you're watching this video, you've probably seen the whole series, or else you might be spoiled, because I'm about to talk about the whole series. But either way, so these 12 people are competing for the title of God and the ability to become God. And initially, I thought, seems pretty sweet. So I'm like, fuck yeah, am I about to get another Death Note or Code Geass? I love those series, so I was so down, so excited to give this baddie a try. So I marathoned this bad boy, and it did start off really strong in my opinion. I like the characters, the theme, Gasai, she's crazy. I actually started off liking her. Near the midpoint about where she freaking kidnapped and locked up Yuki, I really started to hate her, like unbearably so. But the point of this video isn't so much to review the entire series of it, it's really to give you my thoughts on it. Now, generally I hear really good things out of it, things that would have expected me to think this would be something like at least over 8. Sadly, at this point, I'm gonna have to say, in my opinion, it did not live up to those expectations of an 8. And I guess I could give you a few reasons why. Well, this series is supposedly more of a horror series. This isn't like your casual Shonen Jump series or anything like this. I don't know what specifically it's classified as, but I know it's classified as horror. And generally, when you have a series with this much deaths and a type of like story like this, you kind of want your series to make like the plot the main thing. And I felt like the character, specifically was the main thing in this series. Like, though I hated her most of the series, she was really interesting to watch. And I have to admit, even Yuki was kind of a boring character, and I also didn't like his character because he was a fuckboy. I don't know what else to say. Like, he couldn't really make up his mind, and even when his dad straight murdered his mom, he was down with it. I really have problems with specifically the end, which I knew was going to be shocking from what some friends and people online have told me, but like, it wasn't shocking in the way I expected. It was shocking almost in an anticlimactic way. Halfway through, I initially expected that there was something to do with some alternate dimension, and I was thinking the third body was either going to be Yuki or, Gasai, obviously, and for us to watch the series, we know it was obviously And that whole concept of her already winning and doing it again. After sitting on this for a few hours, that part makes the most sense out of everything, because she is God, so she can obviously erase her own memories, and she knew if she had her memories that things would be different, she would have changed the future, so that makes sense. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is how she came to the second world from Murmur, whatever her name was. By the way, she was really annoying. I was really hoping she met a tragic end, but no, Murmur didn't. Either way, I don't know how she was able to pull a fast one on God, and how God would not be able to revive people. Like, he's capable of destroying but not reviving. That was a bit off to me. Sorry if my pace of speaking is a bit slow, it's a bit late. But yeah, not only that, but my main issue was just the general lack of sympathy. Because I get the feeling that Yuki realized earlier than it was shown that he probably couldn't bring anyone back, and even when forced with logic and evidence of Gasai really ultimately betraying him in the end, like that was really foreshadowed early on. I I don't know why. She showed him some attention and stuff. He was feeling lonely, but he had friends, and the fact that he killed all his friends and showed such little remorse was actually very disappointing to me. Because if you think about it, though, the third world is the perfect world. We have two worlds that are severely fucked up because of basically and even after noticing two worlds are fucked up because of him, he was willing to actually fuck up the third world and continuous worlds, so on and so on, just for And I'm not critiquing his writing. It's his or her writing. I'm not sure if the mangaka is a boy or a girl, but I'm just saying that part didn't sit well with me. He could have at least cried a little bit. We've seen him cry over like other things or like get upset about other things, but when he like straight murdered his friends and he didn't really give a fuck. Like I don't know. I guess losing your parents makes you go crazy and stuff like that, and the whole kidnapping him, I'd say borderline torture to him. Definitely mental torture, physical torture, possibly. I can't remember fully even though I just watched it, but I just think overall the ending was a bit unclear, and I'm a bit disappointed about that because, like I said, a story like that, you're able to read the future and like take each other out, 12 people going at each other, it's a little bit disappointing. It's a little bit disappointing to be honest. So with the end of the video, I'll leave this question that the one last thing I'm a bit unclear with the series, which would be great if you guys could help me out in the comments as to why this happened. So in the redial, Mirai Nikki redial, we see obviously that is able to get her memory back from the first world's murmur, whatever the fuck you pronounce her name, and she actually gets to meet the god, or obviously Yuki. So second Yuki. So third world Yuki gets the memory of the previous third world gets the memories of previous Yunos and gets to meet God Yuki, who's been in his Oblivion world for 10,000 years, but in the third dimension, because it's not really different time frames, it's really dimensions if you think about it. In the third dimension slash time frame, is same, though I still feel like she could die. Or sorry, not die. I still feel like she could go fucking crazy, but she's somewhat sane. So she and Yuki end up getting the God Pad after she gets her memory back and breaks through that. And what world is that? What world are they controlling? Is the third going back to second world to be God with Yuki? Because I would think that's even worse, because now her family in the third world and her friends would be disappointed, and that could possibly change a few things. And I don't think they really mention how they're gonna decide the god of the third world, unless is the god of the third world and she just visits the second dimension, which I don't even want to speak about because that would just be kind of stupid, to be honest. I'm sorry to be so harsh. It's very hard for me to be harsh on series that like start off really good. I mean, like when I talk shit about Sword Art, that's to be expected. Sorry if you like that series. I'm just not a big fan of it. Or Bleach. It kind of reminds me of Bleach because I really started off liking that, and if you've watched some of my other videos, got a little bit of a problem with that currently. But yeah, that's basically it. I know it would really be hard for me to rate it more than a 7, and it's getting a 7 almost solely based on like, it's not the plot, let's just say that, characters and maybe animation. This video is a bit long, but if you followed through and watched, thanks for hearing me out, hearing my thoughts. You like some of my ideas, you like One Piece, the other big guys, review that stuff, so if you could throw me a subscription, a like, a comment, that'd be awesome. Tell me what you think. If you got an answer for my question earlier, let me know. Once again, thank you for watching. Signing out.